Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick-butt show called Stephen Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We're going to talk about tonight's fun AEW Dynamite and the implications for the matches being set up for Full Gear. A full 2 weeks and change away. It looks like 2 weeks and a couple days away. So that should be a really fun show. Looking forward to watching it with you. But before Full Gear, we've got some news about a name that maybe he'll be at Full Gear. I don't know.
Could be. So let speculation begin with one simple tweet. Wyndham Rotunda, of course, formerly known as Bray Wyatt, has surely amped up speculation on his future. This is what he tweeted out today. Quote, 2 more days.
Ooh,
2 more days, Wednesday, Friday. Friday would be 2 more days. There's a Rampage on Friday, Steve.
There is a Rampage on Friday.
Hate to break the news to you, though. It's
taped today, though.
Taped. So
maybe he'll do a video vignette. He doesn't have to be there.
But maybe we will see him on our TVs next week. Or, as you mentioned, at Full Gear. Both entirely possible.
Man.
So where is he going to go? Where's he going to go?
I mean, clearly he should go to AEW where he can be wrapped up with a Cody Island story. Maybe. I don't know. Time will tell. I have no inside sources here at Going in Raw, unfortunately.
We have zero.
No indication. Here's an open invitation to Wyndham, though. If he'd like, once he does debut, if he'd like to come on the show and talk to us about everything, there's an open invitation. We need to book more guests, man. We need to be more serious interviewers. We never invite anybody. Have you noticed that? People always just invite themselves onto the show.
Yeah, I know.
We're like, yeah, okay, sure, why not?
Sure, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not good at that, but we should. Yeah, I guess we should get better. True. I guess he could show up on Impact, but they just taped like 5 months worth of stuff. So unless they're going to run video packages for him for 5 months, it's not going to be there. You know. So
yeah,
I guess if he's assuming that's what he wants to do, and based on this tweet, seems eager to get back to it. If he wants to show up in the world of wrestling soon, kind of think it's got to be AEW.
It's going to be AEW. Absolutely. Yeah, it's probably going to be AEW. Unless, I mean, we would have known if he was at Impact because they're taping stuff. I mean, this Friday, maybe he was talking about Last Night in Soho, the new Edgar Wright movie.
Oh, does that come out
maybe
Friday?
He's like, it's coming out Friday. Maybe he's like, man, I'm looking forward to this movie, man. And then he's going to go watch that. What else is on Friday? Anything else good coming out on Friday? Is there a hockey game on Friday?
Well, I'm sure.
On TNT?
I think there's a World Series
the World Series game on Friday?
Yeah, Game 3 of the World Series on Friday.
Man.
He's really excited about that.
Hey, what's happening? Who is this? McTome says, imagine, what about New Japan? Are they running something on Friday?
They have a bunch of Road 2 shows leading up to Power Struggle on the 6th.
Time for Power Struggle, man. Gonna get my New Japan title. Yeah, so that's cool. Got everybody a buzz. Whenever he tweets, it's a big deal because like he rarely tweets. It's not like he sits there and he doesn't live tweet Squid Games or anything.
Oh, dang, MQ said new Wes Anderson movie out on Friday.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, I love The Life Aquatic. So, yeah, it's exciting stuff. Anyways, what do you think about AEW Dynamite? What was the biggest thing coming out of this?
I thought the first hour was good. I thought the second hour was tons of fun. We got an absolutely spectacular TBS Championship tournament bout between Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb. That was fantastic. I guess kind of like the top story, and the main event was tons of fun. Top story, I guess I would say, is Cody basically pleading to the fans, or making the case and continually making the case and saying that he's going to keep making the case for them to start liking him again.
Like me. Please like me.
And he was like, really the reason I'll never turn heel is because I love the fans so much. Now, either this is a brilliant move, knowing the more he kind of shoves face Cody upon the fans, the more they're going to react with more booing, which I think would be interesting. Or, again, it depends on the self-awareness level of Cody, which at times seems like it's pretty high, other times not so much.
He is completely and totally aware of what he's doing. He's got the Cena thing going in AEW.
You say that,
man.
but then you watch his show, and it's like, no. Anyways.
I think he even knows. I think he even understands what that show does. I'm not against the idea that show is specifically designed to continue to push this thing that he's doing, where he knows, and then like he talked about tonight, we're going to get a pedigree at some point. He's going to drop somebody with a pedigree and challenge for the world title. He's going to do what he talked about tonight, man. That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
Interesting.
I'd love it.
I would like that. So he talks about during his match on Rampage on Friday, a moment when he was setting up for the Tiger Driver 98 on Malakai, that he thought about hitting another move, which requires double underhook pedigree, and going through with the heel turn. And he said he considered it for a moment, but he didn't do it.
He considered it.
I believe it's the first time on AEW television he's really addressed turning heel.
Mm-hmm.
But yet again, he said he'll never do it. He won't do it. He loves the fans too much. Please cheer me, is what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting stuff, and he's involved in a thing with Andrade and Malakai Black, and even that full, that smirk during his entrance. It's the dude has me going back and forth every single appearance. Oh, Cody shouldn't be beating Malakai Black. And then he comes out tonight and he's like, hey, remember who built this place? He called him, you mentioned the pre-show, he called himself the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's writing these checks. Like, they have Cody Rhodes' name on him.
Well, he says you can boo the man who writes the checks, but don't boo the bank.
Yeah. Meaning the duality of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
The man who built this place, who's responsible for the checks, who's the money.
Yeah.
Right? Well, Tony Khan's the money, man. We all know that.
I know.
But he's claiming that as his own. He doesn't even reference the fact that there were 3 other dudes, the Bucks and Kenny, putting all this together with him.
And he went through this bit where he was kind of being self-deprecating. It's like, I got a wife that's too hot for me. I got a Hall of Fame brother. But some of these were qualified. Who's likely better than me? Likely better than me.
Yeah. Likely better than me. Yeah. It talks about his dad, of course, and his dad is like the one where he's sort of genuine. He says, if I lived 300 years, I couldn't match the impact of his cultural impact.
Yeah.
So and was the shoe bit a shot at the other EVPs?
Oh, because he came out in some, I don't know if they were Jordans, but they were some sort of Nikes. Yeah,
I think they were Jordan 1s, and he threw them out into the crowd.
Yeah,
try walking in my shoes, and he chucks them into the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it was that. It could be that. Also, an obvious reference to when he lost to Malakai the first time, and it was like, I'm going to retire, and left his boots.
Same
there.
color scheme too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was red, white, and blue.
I was hesitant to say they were Jordan 1s because they were red, white, and blue. I didn't recognize the colorway. Not to say you couldn't got them made or customized, but.
Yeah, I don't know. They just look like
they did look like it, but
standard,
they could have been dunks or something for all I know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So no, I'm interested in knowing where he's going. I mean, the guy does have that Cena vibe, where it's like, oh man, I kind of hate this guy, but then also he's doing some interesting stuff sometimes. So it keeps me interested, and I like it. I mean, it keeps him. We were talking the other day about like who's got bigger star power. Man, Cody, with this one promo, it makes things intriguing again. It really does. And it's like, oh man. And he sort of makes Malakai and Andrade come off as lesser than him.
I thought Andrade was really good
promo. Oh, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was great. And I was actually really happy to see Andrade visit Cody Island. Because if nothing else, they can have it. They can have a killer match. I'm not sure. Are we to assume that the Full Gear match is going to be?
Match.
Did they bring it up? Andrade versus Cody?
That's happening on Dynamite next week.
Oh, that's happening. That was announced for Dynamite.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be the tag match?
Yeah, I think so.
You think for full? That's a bit backwards, isn't it? Pac and Cody.
Unless that's where the heel turn happens.
Ooh. You know what they should do? You want some real heel heat? Cody leads the House of Black. It's Alistair's thing, but Cody leads it.
He kicks Malakai out of the House of Black and takes it over.
Yeah, that's good.
Double
that would
turn.
be kind of that could be kind of interesting though if there was an alliance between Malakai Black and Cody. Malakai allows him to believe. I mean, Malakai has talked about manipulating Cody. It was a first promo. I think not the first promo of the night, but it was one of the first things that we saw. Oh yeah, it was the first promo tonight. He talks about how he tore his family apart and he made him do things that he wouldn't do. That'd be kind of interesting if he sort of roped Cody in to leading a faction with Malakai Black, but Malakai Black is the guy behind it the entire time. That'd be kind of interesting.
It would be kind of interesting. It's what they probably should have done with Bray Wyatt and John Cena.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Anyways,
So,
you want to jump right into it?
That was our part of our fantasy booking.
It was
that thing, and we lost.
We
maybe
lost
it's not
because
a good idea.
Laurie's was way better than ours. Ours was good.
I think ours was great.
Ours was really good.
I think I'll be honest with you, I think ours was more money. His was creatively more satisfying.
Yeah.
Ours was. You know what ours was? An attraction.
It was an attraction. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Ours was definitely
Anyways.
the most WWE of the two stories.
It was, and I don't think we should be ashamed of that.
No, we shouldn't be. I thought it was good. His was really good though.
Ours was a true collaborative effort too. Kicked off with CM Punk versus Bob Fish. Bob Fish going to business for himself, kicking out of the GTS at 2.5, but the ref counted it as 3. This was a really good match.
It was a good match, and it was very physical.
Yeah.
Bob Fish working over Punk's leg all over the place, and Punk really doing a hell of a job selling. My leg is busted up. Towards the end, Punk is going for the GTS. Bob Fish catches it, hits a dragon screw, follows with a sliding clothesline. Punk responds with the backslide, and they jockey position for a bit. Punk lifts up Bob Fish, hits the GTS. He's slow to make the cover and barely gets the 3 count. I think it's a thing where so Punk hit the GTS with the leg that Bob Fish was working over. Commentary is really clear to point that out. And he was slow to make the cover. If he had gone over there, covered Bobby Fish, and Bob Fish didn't budge for 5 seconds. I know GTS is a protected finisher and it's Punk's finisher, and no one should be kicking out of it. But at the same time, he took a while to make that cover. And to protect Bobby Fish a little bit, I don't mind him kicking out maybe the timing was a bit off. I don't mind him kicking out shortly after the pinfall was counted. It doesn't bother me at all.
I like it. I think it's great, and I think you're right. And I hope that's the story. The one thing that Punk is endeavoring to come off at in this story of his is he's vulnerable. Mm-hmm. He's having a hard time against opponents that really shouldn't be. It's such a turning on the head of the pro wrestling trope, and we've talked about this before. It's fascinating. Old dudes come back, like Christian comes back, and he can have problems with the dude against Hobbs. Fairly easy for him just to hit an unprettier or kill switch, and then boom, he's won. And then he was Impact champion, right? Punk is different. He comes back after 7 years. This guy's struggling against guys who typically should be on the totem pole much lower than him.
Yeah.
Matt Sydal, but they've been at it this whole time. Mm-hmm. Matt Sydal, he looked gassed like halfway into that match.
That was one thing Excalibur said is this is Punk's 5th match in 7 years. Bob Fish has been wrestling this whole time.
Yeah. And I wonder, I honestly thought Punk was going to spend his first year doing this Get to Know You, Happy to Be Here tour, and then he'd have to turn heel. I think he's on his way to becoming the biggest face in the company because he's the old dude who is it's not going to be a simple road for him to get to it's not going to be a good road to the top for him. He's going to take a loss sometime soon. It might be before the end of the year. At the way he's going, he got that shot of him at the end of this match was him thinking to himself, damn, I barely won that. And he might be thinking, I probably didn't because Fish kicked out like basically right before the 3 came down. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
And then the ref said, no, that's 3. They rang the bell. That look on Punk's face was, I didn't win that match.
Yeah.
He's going to have a rocky road getting up there, but it's so far it's been really fun to watch. I mean, he's been retraining to get back into wrestling live on cable TV, opening rampages and Dynamite. I think it's been really cool.
It has been cool. And if he's supposed to be, his match at Full Gear is supposed to be against Wardlow?
Oh, is that what they said on the thing?
That's what I thought it said on Tony Khan's notebook. And if that's the case, I mean, that's a pretty steep challenge for old Phil there.
I'm not 100% sure Phil comes out of that one.
I know.
That is I mean, it's he had Darby at first, but that was all like the veteran stuff, and maybe they should have played up. I mean, they did in the promos. Darby talking about Punk was his guy. Maybe play up the being starstruck stuff a little bit with Darby. I mean, a little bit of the Darby that we see on Rhodes to the Top backstage I think would help him a little bit. Like he is still, compared to a lot of people in the company, a kid. I don't know, but tonight he had his private eye outfit on, so I don't know.
Who, Darby? He was Rorschach.
Oh yeah, Rorschach.
Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also learned that it could be really difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed, and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule regular phone or video sessions. And they've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location. BetterHelp is affordable, convenient, and everything you share is confidential.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And before we get back to the show, let's get a word in from our sponsor, Blue Chew. So, Larson, man, there might be times when guys out there are looking for a little bit of extra confidence when it comes time to get down to business with their lovers. And we're here to tell those guys that with chewables from BlueChew.com, you can help make sure you're able to perform when you're in the smash zone.
Yeah, Blue Chew's chewable tablets deliver the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis at a fraction of the cost and combats all forms of ED, so it can help guys out there get that extra bit of confidence they may need when it's time to perform, whether they're going in raw or keeping it wrapped up.
And you don't have to pay a trip to the doctor to get them. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so that means no doctor's offices, no awkward conversations about trying to hit that pile driver, and no wasted time waiting in line at the pharmacy.
And Blue Chew makes the process simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult one of their licensed medical providers who will help you find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription, and once you're approved, you'll get your prescription within days.
So if you're looking for some extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com. And guys, here's a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code GIR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code GIR to receive your first month free.
Anyways, we had the Malakai Black promo next, and he talked about how he made Cody's family lose faith in him. He divided the whole Nightmare family. He forced Cody to take measures he wouldn't have done previously. He made the crowd hate him. He says, this wasn't all about pinfalls.
Yeah. The house always wins.
Yeah.
After that, we had MJF versus Bryce Donovan, as Excalibur calls it, MJF's quarterly obligation to wrestle on Dynamite. This was maybe a minute long, but I don't even think it was
3 moves.
that long. It was, okay, there you go.
Sorry, 4.
Yeah.
So he extends his hand to Donovan. Donovan takes it, shakes it. MJF kicks him. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, yes. Kicks him, flings him in the corner, hits a heat seeker for the win. Match over.
Yeah, that was quick. It was really just to set up his promo.
Yeah.
So he starts out just talking shit about Boston, calls it a shithole. He has no interest in. He'd rather shove his junk in a blender than engage in activities with their women. He says your accents are disgusting, like Darby Allin. I like that it's just extra low fruit these days with MJF.
It really is.
But I think that's kind of part of the point with him these days. He's just trying to be extra sort of garbage. He says, Darby made a mistake interrupting me. You said I couldn't beat you mentally, which is weird because you haven't been here because you're scared. I'd be scared too because I knocked your Poppy Sting out with my Dynamite Dozen ring. I don't care what happens after Full Gear. You are looking at the future world champion. Sting's music hits. Then it stops. MJF starts laughing because Spears set the whole thing up. He called the people dumb for going for it. Lights go down again. He says, haha, very funny, Spears. Spears says, not me this time, dude. And then a video of Darby Allin attacking a guy in an MJF mask at a show of some sort. Do you know the backstory of this?
No.
Yeah, a concert.
No, I didn't hear anything about this in advance, so no.
All right. Anyways, that happens, and then it followed. There's some words on the screen. It says, now is the time I destroy you physically. And then Darby's in the crowd. So was his face paint like that was a good catch.
I guess I thought it was Rorschach. Someone here in chat says invisible. Oh, Count Trolloff says he was the Invisible Man. He had like a mask over his face. And when I saw it, it was really quick. So he was sitting a couple rows back in the crowd when MJF is. So Sting comes out. He attacks Spears and Wardlow. MJF flees. He's standing against the barricade, and Darby's in the background. Really quickly, you see him back there. He takes the mask off, the hat off. It
was the Invisible Man.
Okay,
yeah, it's here.
okay.
Yeah. But Rorschach's a good shout.
MJF runs up the ramp, and then Darby comes to the ringside area, sends Spears into the steps. He puts him in the ring. He's got a skateboard deck with thumbtacks on it, and then blasts Wardlow with it. And Darby grabs the mic and challenges MJF to a match at Full Gear. Enforcer
was disappointed he wasn't being Robert Stack. Trench coat looked like a Stack trench coat, but now he clearly, it was totally a Invisible Man thing. I thought it'd be kind of cool if he had like a Rorschach shout face paint. It'd be kind of neat. I mean, he couldn't move, but anyways, after that, they set up Full Gear for that. Who comes out on top at Full Gear? Darby's got to get that win, right? He lost at the last big show. Good, granted, it was against CM Punk.
I don't know. Honestly, don't know.
Usually in feuds, whoever gets the big moment, whoever stands tall in the big moment, comes out on the losing end. This big moment was the big attack from
Darby. Yeah.
From MJF and them when they attacked Darby out of the limo.
Yeah. Well,
so you'd think that Darby's got to win this.
Maybe. They still have 2 weeks left. They could have a huger moment, a huger attack. After that,
a hugest moment.
Britt Baker interview, which largely consists of her being informed that because she walked out of her match against Abaddon on the Jericho Cruise, Tony Khan has booked a match between them, a Rampage on Friday. It's a no DQ match, and if Abaddon wins, she gets a title shot, so a championship contender bout. And Britt just kind of says, all right, well, tell her I'll see her on Friday. That's kind of it.
I'm happy we get to see Abaddon again on cable TV.
Agreed.
After that, we had a really spectacular match. Ethan Page versus Sammy Guevara. Excuse me. That shooting star press from the top to the outside was nuts.
That was something else.
It was nuts. Sammy ended up getting the win here. He goes up top to try to hit like a Spanish fly on Ethan Page, but Page just sort of powers him off and throws him to the floor. Page hits a lariat. Tries for a top rope Ego's Edge, which looked terrifying. Sammy countered it with a Rana. Sammy got like a roll-up pin shortly after that for the win. Right afterwards, Page attacks, as does Scorpio Sky. Inner Circle come down to run them off, and we get a Jericho promo.
Yeah, he's back. So he says, respect that, Scorpio Sky. You beat me twice. The only thing Page has beaten was himself last night in his hotel room. Then he says the most important thing of all is Sammy won, and that means there will be a 10-man tag team match at Full Gear. It'll be Page, Sky, and American Top Team against the Inner Circle. Tony Khan's made it a street fight. Next week, they're going to decide which members of American Top Team are going to be in the match and tell Lambert to be there. So Lambert's totally going to be in this match, and he's going to eat the pin.
Oh my God. Do you think Lambert's going to be in this match? That's fun for him.
1,000% he's going to be in this match.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Jericho drops some Aerosmith lyrics from Sweet Emotion to get that pop from the Boston crowd.
What's your favorite Aerosmith song?
That's a good question. I'm not a huge Aerosmith guy. Some of their older stuff's pretty solid.
I'm not a huge Aerosmith guy either. Mine is the song that reintroduced Aerosmith to a lot of people, but introduced Aerosmith to me, and that's their collaboration with Run DMC.
Oh, Walk This Way.
Walk This Way, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was my jam right there, man.
That's a good one.
A lot of people here saying Dream On. Dream On is trippy because it does not sound like the Steven Tyler I knew later on. I heard that song later on in life, and I was like, man, Cigarettes or whatever it was did a number on his voice. He still had a beautiful voice afterwards, but it was just different. It was way different.
There's like an urgency to his voice back then that's been kind of smoothed out since somehow. It kind of seems to me like he listened to Back in the Saddle or something like that, and those really kind of high pitched shrieks he does. It sounds like it's there, Steven Tyler now, but it sounds so different back then. Anyways, after that we had a Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston interview with Tony Schiavone. I don't know if you saw it, but previously Danielson was getting on Eddie Kingston about his work ethic. And Eddie says, you talked about hard work, saying I don't work hard. He says, every morning I get up, I take a Zoloft, I battle depression, and sometimes that depression turns into anger. He says, don't talk to me about hard work unless you walked a mile in my shoes. I'm done talking. I'm done listening. He says, forgive my back, and turns around and leaves. I've never heard that phrase before.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is a good one. So Bryan says, that's the Eddie I want to see. That's the Eddie I want to have the match against. He tells Eddie that he's been through it too. There are people out in the locker room and out in life that have been through it as well. He says, in the ring, Eddie works his ass off. Eddie and Mox are the two toughest wrestlers he's ever met. But this Friday, he's going to go out and prove that he's the best.
Yeah, Eddie was really good here. That's going to be a really good match.
Yeah, it
is. What's going to be insane is Danielson versus Mox. Because the way Mox is going right now, he's terrifying. He is terrifying. Kind of wish this was just the Mox that we had the entire time, just like killing people.
Poor 10. He bled buckets tonight.
Oh my gosh, it was so much blood.
A ton of blood, and not a long time. Like the amount of blood that came out in such a short amount of time was insane. After
that, we had a Lucha Bros interview. They said, we know what you want. We're going to put these on the line at Full Gear. FTR, you say you're the best, the greatest. You don't know the sacrifice we've made to get these. So at Full Gear, yes, we're going to put these on the line, baby. They just accept. Yeah. They say, hey, match these on the line.
Yep. Then we get Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida, match of the night. This was spectacular.
This is great, man. This is so damn good.
Absolutely spectacular. So Deeb comes out first. Then Shida makes her entrance. She's got her 50-win trophy. Oh, sorry. Yes, Shida has it in a couple pieces. So she brings it to the ring. She kind of puts it under by the ring post under the turnbuckle. Deeb's working over Shida's leg throughout the match. It's great. Shida is just hitting Deeb with tons of strikes. At one point, she goes for a spinning knee. Deeb catches that, hits a dragon screw, and then Shida boots her out of the ring. She sets up the chair, and as she's setting up for that running knee off it, Deeb swipes it away. Shida ends up hitting the missile drop kick off the steps. She's about to get back in the ring. Deeb starts slamming her leg and gets on the apron repeatedly. Locks a figure 4 around the ring post. Shout out to Bret Hart. Deeb was wearing pink and black gear tonight. She's looking for the figure 4 in the ring. Instead, Shida rolls her up. That gets her a 2. She goes for a neck breaker. Shida counters that with a kick. She goes for running knee. Deeb counters that with a running crab. Just smooth. Just seamless wrestling. She pulls Shida back to the middle of the ring, puts on an inverted figure 4. Shida gets to the bottom rope. And then Deeb goes over and picks up the 50-win trophy. She's about to take a swing at Shida with it. Instead, Shida kicks her. Shida picks it up, and she wants to hit Deeb with it. And the ref's like, no, you'll get DQ'd. And so she hands the trophy to the ref. And then while Aubrey Edwards is putting the trophy away, Deeb pokes Shida in the eyes, rolls her up, the one gets her 2 count. She goes for detox. Shida escapes that. Deeb looks for a roll-up. This finish was awesome.
Yeah.
And so she just kind of sits down on the roll-up and rolls up Deeb to get the win.
Yeah.
It was great.
No, it was awesome. Really great match. After that, we had
there was a bit afterwards after the match where Aubrey's hands Shida the 50-win trophy because that was her 50th win. And then Deeb hits her with a chop block, gets a chair in the ring and starts working over Shida's leg with it, and then hits the Serenity Lock. So Shida's going to go into her match against Nyla Rose with one good leg, and will probably lose.
Yeah. And that's gonna explain the loss right there.
Yep.
Commentary is really putting over. I mean, they were just saying straight up, "Oh, she wants her out of the tournament." Or she'll just have like a super gutsy win, which everybody's gonna pop for huge if that happens. That's really good stuff. After that, we had this Lio Rush Dante Martin interview. Dante Martin always looks like he does not want to be anywhere near Lio Rush. So apparently, Mike Sydal has been injured, so they're going to do Matt Sydal versus Dante
for the third time.
He says for the third time. He says, you know what? My in-ring debut will take place at the right time, the right place. But this Friday on Rampage, it'll be Sydal versus Martin for the third time, and I'll be in the corner. And this time, he's going to have somebody back in his play that is interested in seeing him succeed, not somebody who wants to beat him. And talking about Sydal because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He said there's going to be a lesson on Friday, and the failed student is going to be Matt Sydal.
Yes. And then we had 10 versus Mox. Poor 10. Mox just comes storming in through the crowd. Right at the bell, German suplex. Stomps him a ton. Blasts 10 off the apron. Throws him in the ring steps, rips off his mask, starts biting his head, rams him in the ring post. 10 is bleeding all over the place.
Dude, it's a lot.
A ton.
It's a lot.
So 10 makes a little bit of a comeback, but which Mox ends with the clothesline, follows with some ground and pound, hits a paradigm shift for the win. Walks over to the guardrail, boots it open, and just storms back the way he came. And then the trainers are in right away, putting pressure on 10's head wound because he was bleeding a ton.
Yeah. It was pretty rough. This is going to be really interesting, Mox versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a match. I fully expect Mox to pick up the win, but it ain't going to be the way it's been for the last two matches, quick affairs. But I do think that it's going to be bloody. I think that he's going to open up Orange Cassidy.
I think relative to most Orange Cassidy matches, it's going to be short. Again, relative. It's not going to go 12
because
minutes.
I don't think there's going to be any of the comedy stuff.
No.
I think that Orange Cassidy is going to come out ready to throw, not doing the silliness with the hands.
Or Mox is not going to give an opportunity to start with the silliness.
That could be too. But just the way that Orange Cassidy was looking at him, he's paying attention. I don't think they showed him tonight at all, but
no.
They should have done the thing where he was standing next to the TV like WWE does.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to see a different side of Orange Cassidy.
And
that we should, anyways.
With the assumed finals of Danielson versus Mox, we got this new super violent Mox. We got Danielson talking about wanting to kick people's heads in. This is going to be a physical match.
Yeah.
Physical. It could hurt to watch.
Absolutely. Oh, we got a raid here in the chat from the Bald Monkeys. Thank you very much for the raid. That's very nice of you. You guys can watch these raids happen live here on the Twitch if you watch the show live.
Indeed. Yeah. Then we got an FTR interview. Cash said they waited a year to get their AEW tag titles back. They accept Lucha Brothers challenge. They're going to claim their titles. Tully says, hey, everyone knows what a reset is. They've hit the reset buttons. And Lucha Brothers have no idea what's coming. And the Dak says, come Full Gear. Lucha Brothers, they're used to doing all their high-flying stuff. But at Full Gear, they're going to be in a fight. And at the end of the night, FTR will go down as the greatest tag team of all time.
Then we had the Cody promo. He comes out. He's being booed. He says, I hear you. I've heard you online. I heard you this Saturday. He says, I had one of the best wrestlers in the world with an underhook. Ultimately, I had hit a Tiger Driver 98, but for one moment, for a glimmer, I thought about hitting a different move. Pedigree. He says, what would have happened? What if I popped up, broken my EVP bond, and went back on my word and challenged for the world title? But that's too easy. That's the easy way out. As a fan, I firmly believe you can cheer, you can boo, but if you're going to boo the narrative, boo the true narrative. Don't forget the man who built this bank. Do me a favor, put yourself in my shoes for one night. Think about it. And he says, literally, put yourself in my shoes. He starts throwing his shoes out to the crowd. He says, think about it. I grew up in front of you. At 20 years old when I got started, he says, I've got a wife that's too hot for me, a brother who's likely better than I am. I got a daughter I barely deserve, and if I lived to be 300, I wouldn't be able to live up to my dad's legacy. I will not turn. He says straight up, I will not turn. The reason is, I love you very much. I've loved all of you my entire life. And if anybody thought I got a little Hollywood, I apologize to each of you. Everybody in the Nightmare family, he names off everybody. He turns to Arn. He says, Arn, it's a damn honor. He says, sir, it's a damn honor to stand in the ring with you. I apologize. You were right. Andrade comes out. Cody! He says, who do you think you are? These people don't like you. The people don't like me, but the difference is I don't care about the people. You make stupid choices. First is that stupid tattoo. He says, second, you got in my business. He says, look at me. I'm Andrade El Idolo. But if you want, I can make you my little bitch. And then the lights go down. Lights come up. Ice Cream Man, Malakai Black is there. He missed Cody. Him and Andrade both attack Cody, the assistant. Arn goes to attack the assistant. Pat comes down for the save. He gets rid of Black and then takes out Andrade as well.
Yeah, then gives them both middle fingers.
Oh, he's sitting there busted with his middle fingers.
Pretty great. Then they announced shortly thereafter that Cody versus Andrade will happen on next week's Dynamite. And we had our main event, Dark Order versus the Elite 8-man tag team match. Everybody in costume. It was great. So Dark Order, their costumes were, you got Stu Grayson as Kratos.
Mm-hmm,
John Silver
as Ciampa, depending. On
John Silver as promised as Bambi.
He's Bambi.
You got Colt Cabana as Brandon Cutler.
Yeah,
Colt Spray.
Colt Spray.
And then Evil Uno as Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Elite were all Ghostbusters.
They even had their own homage Ghostbuster song.
Yeah.
Who are you going to call? Super Elite.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And they were joined by Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which you assume was Brandon Cutler. And then Nakazawa as a baby. And he had a bib on that said Bebe, like Adam Cole Bebe.
Oh, okay. I was kind of confused about that one. I didn't notice the Bebe. Okay.
Yeah, I only really noticed it when Adam Cole did the Adam Cole Bebe thing. He was pointing at Nakazawa.
Okay, he's a Bebe.
Yeah. This match was just tons of fun.
Oh, this was a blast. There was some great stuff here. They had, of course, the Ghostbusters had their proton packs on. Those came into play at one point. Uno was going for a splash on Kenny. Kenny just turned around.
That power bomb on
it was rough.
Sucked.
Because it looks just like plastic. It's all just hard plastic. So there's that great bit where Stu stepped on both from the top. He sort of stepped on their shoulders to get to Kenny to give him a Rana. Then does some crazy shit, flippy stuff to avoid stereo super kicks. At one point, I think it was Nick Jackson who accidentally super kicked the ref, and that allowed for everybody to hit low blow. So Matt hit a low blow on Stu, and then the Dark Order start approaching Matt from behind, and then the rest of the Super Elite come in, give all those guys low blows. That led to the Super Elite doing this bit where they do a sandwich onto the Dark Order with the proton packs. Then they stack them all down on the ground and they powerbomb Colt onto the proton packs. That was rough.
That sucked.
Shortly after, a horse comes running down with Reynolds and Five. So you think the horse is what the Dark Order. The horse gets in there and he's trying to say something to them. And so they think, he's part of the Dark Order. So they get him in for a BTE trigger. They give it to him. They take off the mask, and it's Cutler. And he's got his mouth taped shut so he couldn't say anything, which leaves Matt alone with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which ends up being Hangman Page.
Yep.
Crowd goes insane.
Yep.
He takes out Matt. Stu hits a fun splash from the top on the Super Elite. Hangman hits a dead eye on Kenny. And then Silver hits a spin doctor on Kenny Matt or Kenny? I forget which one. Matt 4-3.
Yep.
So yeah, that was really good stuff.
It was a lot of fun. It was a fun show.
Yeah, it was wildly fun. Yeah. The man turn here subbed for 19 months.
Thank
and
you,
he's on a
Manturn.
12-month streak. He says that's a big sub, baby. Thank you, man turn. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. I have a thread here on the Patreon, and of course we got our Twitch chat has some questions as well. First up, Dave Matushek asks, what do you think the Elite should dress as next Halloween to get the crowd in a frenzy?
Well, I'm assuming it's going to be probably the Super Click will probably still be a unit. I don't know if Kenny will necessarily be part of the Elite anymore.
Let's just say they're all together.
All right, they're all
It's
together.
what would be a five-man pop culture reference. that could work for. You know what they should do? They should do like the Mount Rushmore of of horror characters. Yeah, Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers. Well, maybe not Chucky if that's still on USA. And then a couple other the horror characters.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Specificity is dead says the Cole Dark Order bits on being the Elite have been hilarious. They asked him to shave his head, change his name, and be a manager.
I have not seen that yet. I keep on meaning to sort of binge those segments, though. I really want to. I hear that they're hilarious and that Adam Cole looks like he's on the verge of laughing the whole time. Let's see here. Moses Supposes says, who do you want to win the men and women's eliminator tournaments? So who do you want to win? Not who do you think is going to win. Who do you want to win?
I want Danielson to win. Super violent Mox. If he continues this way, I don't know if it's a given that he's going to, though. Because I think they might like the idea of super violent Mox against Hangman right now. You know?
I think that might be a likely situation. Because otherwise you got Bryanson going for the that title shot like really soon. I don't know they want to do that.
I just didn't know if they would have Danielson take his first loss to, I know Mox was in WWE before, like not an up and comer, you know?
Oh, you think that they would save the Danielson loss for like a Jungle Boy or something like that? Something or like an MJF?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know about that. I think that dude is. I don't think for Punk maybe. Bryan Danielson is living in the now.
Yeah.
So if anybody's going to beat him, it's going to be like a super violent. It's going to be a dude who's so powered up.
Yeah.
And Mox right now might be more powered up than anybody.
That could be.
If they're going to have him lose, I think it should be to somebody who's like, holy shit, this guy's scary. So I could see that. Because
that could be because, you know, Danielson comes in with like, I'm going to kick your fucking head off or head in, super violent American Dragon Bryan Danielson, and he meets up with super violent Mox. He might be like, whoa.
Ew. Whoa. As far as who I want to see win, at this point, like I've never been like a huge Mox fan, but goddamn, when he comes to the ring now, I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be cool because he's gonna be really. I think I kind of want Mox to win. And on the women's side of things,
Jade Cargill, she should 1000% win.
I want Ruby to win. Because I think that the best wrestler should win, and I think she's the best wrestler. And I really want her to get. I know she had the big moment at All Out, you know, just her entrance, her arrival. But I think that she's the best wrestler. I think she should win. And on top of that, she's a face. And Cargill's not really a heel, but she's not exactly a face either.
Hugh Longheavy says, I'm certain Cody is doing a meta story where fans actually believe it's real and it's working perfectly. You know, I go back and forth. That idea too. Same. I've gotten that idea too, but I constantly go back and forth. He'll do something. I'm like, oh, he knows what he's doing. And I'll see something else. I was like, no, he's oblivious. And I'll just keep going back and forth.
Doesn't that mean he's playing us? Doesn't that mean it's working? Doesn't that mean he's totally in on it and he is manipulating?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, man. I think absolutely.
Not necessarily.
Blake Whitehouse, is MJF close to getting Change the Channel heat? I guess it sort of just depends on who you are. I don't know. He sort of straddles the line for me sometimes. I think anybody who watches the show knows that sometimes I'm like, man, I don't. When he does what he did tonight, it's like, okay, it's lazy, but I think it's intentionally lazy. When he does it against, like, when he talks about Pillman, like real life stuff, that doesn't do much for me. But I don't know. He's still one of the best promos out there.
He is, but there was a time when he would get on the mic and he would seemingly he'd be clever. You know, he'd say clever stuff. It wasn't always the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Now that he gets on the mic, I'm like, all right, well, at least it's not Dan Lambert, you know?
There's a pretty big, for me personally, there's a pretty big gulf there. Dan Lambert has literally like, okay, I don't even want to bother taking. I stopped taking notes when he talked.
I take the bare
MJF.
minimum. I take the bare minimum of notes when he talks.
MJF still he can. It's like laughing at the crudest of humor.
Here's the thing with MJF is, for me at least, there's still the prospect that he can go back to actually maybe being kind of clever.
Yeah, right.
You know? Whereas I don't get that from Dan Lambert. I know it's just going to be him talking over and over and over and over and over and over and over ad nauseum, you know? Golden Eagle
says,
sorry.
Steve wants a general running down of people or towns, not personal runnings down. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Golden Eagle with the sub. Thank you so much.
Because, like, especially tonight, it was so lazy.
It was super lazy.
It was so lazy. But then I was like, man, that's got to be the point of this, right? Like, he's just devolving into, like, this guy's not even trying anymore. And if it's something that's intentional, which I kind of feel like it is, I'm like, okay, where are you going with this?
Enforcer has a costume idea for the Elite. They could be the Church of Friendos next year.
Hey, there you go.
Great idea.
There you go. Yeah. Asian Mer says the big picture is the Wardlow turn if you pay attention. Oh yeah, that's been a simmering thing.
That's been in the works for a while.
Yeah, and that's going to be great. By the way, that's going to be awesome.
Graz with sub. Thank you so much.
Let's see here. Yeah, Sent Merc here in the Patreon question thread also has the thought that it's going to be Dan Lambert eating the Judas effect. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. You're probably right about that. Oh wow, Shane's birthday tweet: did the Elite miss an opportunity to have Cole be a ghost as part of the Ghostbusters costumes?
That'd been pretty great.
I wonder if they'll do that on Being the Elite. They might do that on Being the Elite.
That'd been pretty funny if he came out as Slimer.
That would be pretty hilarious. That'd be pretty great. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Twitch chat, stick around. My dog has entered the chat.
Oh, wow. Speaking of ghosts. Oh, no, it's Gypsy.
Oh, and then the ghost just closed it.
Oh, my goodness.
Maggie, can we get a lace gem? Where's Maggie? Is she here? Can we get a lacegems.com in the chat, please? Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.